Stupid Garbage Podcast.
Oh, I like that.
Should be fine. Life is a highway. Suck on my penis till I come.
Ew.
You're going my way. Give me some road hair till I come. It's Rascal Flatts in the studio.
You're gross. Sorry, Rascal Flatts is gross.
Rascal Frats. Yeah, those rascally frats. They're that would probably be more apt, actually, given the song "Life Is a Highway." Suck on my penis till I come.
Stop.
Off of their same name album. It's the eponymous song. What are you doing?
I just unscrewed the top of my
No. Let me rephrase. I saw, obviously, you watched me watch you do that. What are you doing?
Well, I just don't understand how you're not impressed.
What am I doing?
You're holding a screwdriver.
Bitch, I don't mean literally.
What do you have for the pod, Rob? You dragged me up here from playing with Peaches, and now I have to fucking deal with you instead of my sweet, sweet lizard.
So I watched Cape Fear yesterday.
No, Rob, come back. Where are you going?
The 1991 remake.
Go get Peaches and bring them.
I'm going into the bedroom.
Robert!
Gonna take this on the road. The 1991 Scorsese film starring Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte? Yeah, Nick Nolte and Robert De Niro. And, Jess, who was the woman in it? Who was De Niro's wife?
I don't know.
Jess,
her eyes are really...
Jess is something. Alright.
Fucking got him.
So, yeah, we watched...
I don't know what her name is actually at all.
The 1991 version of Cape Fear, wherein the girl who was in the National Lampoon movies, and none of it matters. It's a De Niro movie, basically, is all I need to know, is all anyone does know. And the original was Nick Nolte's part, Bowden, was played by Gregory Peck, who is... Oh, what are you doing?
I'm looking up the cast.
Okay. Played by Gregory Peck, who always seems to play lawyers. He played maybe not most famously, but yeah, I'd say most famously.
12 Angry Men.
Nope.
Obviously.
He played Atticus Finch.
It's sweet that you think that I care at all about
that. He also played that was in the original Cape Fear.
Right, Robert De Niro's wife was Jessica Lange. Oh, of American Horror Story, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then Juliette Lewis was his daughter, who bothers me a lot.
Both J names. So anyway, Peck played Nick Nolte's character in the original back in the 60s, and then in this one, in the 1991 one, Gregory Peck played De Niro's lawyer. The southern guy with the white suit. The best lawyer in the country, he was in one scene.
Oh.
And then Nick Nolte's character was originally played by the guy who was the detective.
Wait, isn't Nick Nolte the one that had the hair that he's famous for, the mugshot?
Maybe. Yeah. Why?
That's so funny, because I wouldn't even have recognized him at all. Yeah, it's him. Okay. He did not age well.
Well, I mean,
no one does, I guess.
70, yeah. 79, Jesus Christ, he's almost 80.
Anyway.
So anyway, as Jessica says so eloquently, the guy who originally played De Niro's character was the police detective in this one, in the remake. Jessica?
Why did you bring your screwdriver into the bedroom?
We get kinky. We get freaky deaky.
Okay.
This is going somewhere where you're not gonna like this. Let me just say right now. So anyway,
I like where your head's at, but also I don't.
Just yeah, I'm gonna bail out on this one. So
thank you.
Who's he? This says that prisoner number 3 was played by a guy named Edgar Allan Poe the Fourth.
Ooh,
that can't be right?
That's cool.
Is he the guy? Edgar Allan Poe the Fourth is an actor known for Cape Fear, My Girl, and Bikini Beach Race. Yeah, clearly not a very successful career. Let's click on his. Let's see. Doesn't say if he's the actual Edgar Allan Poe.
Anyway, what did you think of the film?
Fourth, of Edgar Allan Poe fame. So yeah, the film was a little over 2 hours, and it was. I didn't know this. Apparently, De Niro preparing for this role, he paid to have some dentist to have his teeth filed down.
What?
So he would look more menacing.
What?
I don't know a lot about dental psychology, but I don't think of people with stubbier teeth as being more menacing.
Like they were literally filed down so that they're like the same size?
I don't know.
I'm assuming filed down meaning like sharp.
I thought it meant
like filed to a
flat.
Well,
because if you
look at his teeth,
if I'm saying if memory serves from when I watched the movie 14 hours ago, his teeth were not that sharp. Let's see.
I did not notice anything about his teeth, so
exactly.
They did a good job, I guess.
They just blended right into his gums. And then he paid $5,000 for the teeth filing, and then I don't know how you would do this. Maybe wood glue?
Your teeth is right there.
Thank you. Maybe wood glue or something, but he paid $20,000 to have them
that seems like
restored.
Too much. Yeah, I was gonna say now his teeth are fake because once you file down, you can't unfile.
They look fine.
His teeth look like completely normal teeth.
Yeah, I don't know.
They are extremely flat, but I wouldn't really associate that with
menace.
Or like I wouldn't associate. I wouldn't think that. Yeah.
Yeah, I read something, and De Niro.
Give me those Freddy Krueger teeth. Those are menacing.
Yeah, De Niro in this movie said he had to gain a lot of weight, but that surprised me because he got so big for Raging Bull, which was a few years before this. Although for Raging Bull, he got in really great shape, and then he got really fat. So I don't know. But anyway, it said he was in really good shape. He was a beautiful sheep. Great coat. Mary had a little lamb. So no, see these
Freddy Krueger teeth are pretty gross.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like saying something that did not exist, so I wanted to look it up.
Freddy Krueger definitely has teeth. So De Niro, I read on Wikipedia that he got in really good shape for this, gained weight apparently, and was down to 4% body fat. De Niro looks very good in this movie. He was not at 4% body fat. That's poppycock. He might have been at 10%, but he didn't really. I don't know. I didn't really look too closely, but his body didn't really have any specific definition. Like it looked really good, and it looked really, really good under clothes. But when he took his shirt off and stuff, it's not like he had a 6-pack or anything. Well, no, I'd say he did.
I'd say he didn't.
Okay, let's see.
His body
going
to me was
back to Google.
Very average and not. It's also, I think we've like wasted like 10-15 minutes just talking about his physical appearance and not about the movie at all.
We're like 7 minutes into the podcast, so Cape Fear. Going back to Jessa. Let's back tattoo. He did have a big back tattoo, but I'm assuming that was fake. So,
should we look at him or read him?
Yeah, that was a stupid line. There were a couple of lines that I didn't understand in this movie. Wow. I mean, I understood them. It was just they were dumb. Yeah, I'd say he has. You can't quite see it as well because of all the tattoos, but he definitely has.
The tattoos. Let me see. Go to the
definition along his abs.
Yeah, from the side he looks great.
But he's not. He's not 4% body fat.
He does, but yeah, I again like he has a 6-pack or whatever, but it's so slight. It looks really good in that scene from the side, but anyone looks good from the side.
Yeah, that's true.
My body looks best from the side too. I think that's kind of cheating. Like this, he has like a little bit of. Maybe I'm just not attracted to it, so I don't.
He played a Southerner, which I thought was strange. I did not expect that. Kind of came out of nowhere at me.
It was a little obnoxious.
But as we all know, Jessica hates Robert De Niro. So I'm curious to know how you felt about the film.
Get the screwdriver out of your nose.
Ooh, theater of the mind. Didn't I say we were getting freaky with this?
No, not the sharp end. Okay, thank you. No.
Go on.
It's not that I don't like Robert De Niro. I just don't like the movies that he chooses to be in. I find that they're often very intense, which, Rob, this movie was.
This movie was, this movie was pretty intense.
That did feel painful.
And, yeah, I think never mind. This movie was intense.
He likes the really serious, like, vigilante crime movies. I feel like there's always some guy who like takes the law into his own hands in the movies that he's in.
Well, there's a bit of that in Raging Bull, and there's certainly a large element of that in any gangster film.
Yeah.
Goodfellas or The Godfather, both of them. He was in The
Irishman.
Godfather Part 2. The Irishman, sure. Casino,
So
definitely. This one,
yeah.
for sure. Definitely. So
yeah, it just, I mean, which is
okay.
fine. It just is like, there's a very specific movie that he makes, and it's, you know, those are scratches from Peaches.
No, you have paint or something on your tits.
Well, that shouldn't be there. I don't know.
Well, it's all right.
Anyway, so yeah, that was, you know, whatever. So I don't like the movies that he usually chooses to be in. I wasn't super excited for this movie going into it, but I thought it would be fine.
Fine.
And it was fine. It was way too long.
Yeah, you don't
No.
tolerate
As
long movies very well. And by long, I mean an hour and 50 minutes.
One of
or
my
longer.
favorite movies is Mr. Nobody. It is a 3-hour movie. My other favorite movie that is actually a miniseries that I was just watching as a movie because that's how the DVD was set up, I guess. Merlin, 3 hours.
I know, those are very... If you already know you like a movie, you'll sit through it. But
I had to sit through it for the first time.
I know, I don't know how that happened.
The issue with long movies is only an issue when they're bad. I felt like this movie, I was paying attention to it, but I felt like it just went on too long.
So
there was a decent chunk in the middle or like the 3/4 mark that I was like, let's skip it.
So anyway, you the
readers know what I'm talking about.
They never know what you're talking about. You might as well do this podcast in Portuguese. Say something in Portuguese. Jessica's, I think, fluent in Portuguese. She took Portuguese for 7 years in school. Say something in Portuguese.
I didn't.
Say hello in Portuguese.
Hola.
Or thank you. Or
Merci
Spanish,
beaucoup.
French. Obrigado. I think that's...
Arigato.
Arigato is Japanese.
Wait, what did you say?
Obrigado.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Not the same, you'll notice. Obrigado is Portuguese.
Is it arigato? Thank you.
Yeah.
Gozaimasu.
Yeah. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. So, yeah, obrigado, it's either hello or thanks or some... I also don't know any Portuguese, but I didn't claim to know Portuguese.
Neither
Jessica.
did I.
Someone just said that you're fluent in Portuguese. Looks like you're going off the bed. Let me help you with that.
I'm trying to escape.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tack så mycket.
I came in... Swedish. I came into this room, you'll recall, to leave you behind.
I know.
To start a new life. To ride off into the sunset. And then you followed me and started yelling at me.
You don't have a
and
vehicle to ride.
Took my screwdriver.
You can ride Peaches.
Give me this.
Oh, ride Peaches into the sunset.
So, okay. So this movie starts out... God damn, in 1962. This movie starts out with, right off the top, De Niro's and Jessica. You can't go to sleep.
You can't tell me how to spend my time.
You know, you're right. Please go to sleep.
Okay.
So this movie starts out in De Niro's court. Balls in his Jessica, you can't kick me while you're asleep, though.
Okay.
Balls in his pants. God damn, I already lost my train of thought.
It doesn't start off in court, does it?
No. It's a figure of goddamn speech. So the ball is in his court is a figure. Jessica.
I thought you said it starts off in court. Basically, Robert De Niro gets out of prison, and he has a vendetta against the lawyer that defended him in trial.
Go back to bed. Shh. Here, play with the screwdriver. That's what you do to distract a baby. There you go. So yeah, it starts off in prison. We see De Niro doing tricep dips, balls everywhere, and that's good. And he is covered in tattoos that are just Bible verses and about vengeance and revenge and revengeance. And he gets out of prison, says some remark to the effect of having read every book in there, and then just immediately starts for the next 2 hours accosting Nick Nolte. And with increasing... Okay, thank you, Jessica. With increasing intensity and vitriol, I think he starts the first time he sees him. He follows him into a movie theater and then smokes a cigar near him.
Right in front of him.
And just laughs really loudly. Yeah, which is a weird way.
That was really obnoxious.
Yeah, weird way to get someone's attention.
Also, I thought that it was him just like enjoying being out of prison.
No.
Like it wasn't really clear.
I don't think so.
And then he was no, it definitely wasn't. But I'm just saying, like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's just
he's just a weirdo.
He's just an asshole. Yeah, that just got out of prison and he wants to go see a movie. And then when he was waiting in the car outside of the movie theater or wherever or the ice cream shop or whatever, I was like, oh, like he's being a creeper. But the movie theater thing was weird.
Yeah. What I didn't understand, so for the next 2 hours, as I said, Robert De Niro tries to harass and, in increasingly violent terms, attack Nick Nolte and his family. And so what I don't understand is they found out that, and I get this was in 91, but still they found out De Niro had some to the effect of $24,000, $23,000, and he kept paying for people's food and ice cream and stuff. And so they said, yeah, he's got resources, it's not, if he didn't have any money or anything, he couldn't keep bothering you like this. But he inherited $30,000 and now he has some $24,000 or something like that, which, in modern days is probably $45,000. Just wait him out. How long can he really?
I mean, you can definitely.
He's spending money like crazy. He conceivably bought a car.
He can definitely also like fuck shit up without any money. Like I don't know why they assume.
Because that was a.
He was stalking people. You don't need money to stalk. You don't need money to break in and enter.
Break in and entering.
Yeah, and you don't need money to threaten. You don't need money to beat someone in an alley.
Rape a child.
You want to talk about that?
He raped a child. Well, I think he
raped multiple children.
He was in jail for raping a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, I guess teenagers is a better word, but...
Yeah, sure. And then tried to... Jessica is a big defender of teenage pedophilia, but...
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know you'd like to get your voice out there.
Well, if someone was like, oh, there's a kid over there, I wouldn't think like, oh... a 16-year-old. Like a kid is not...
Yeah, fair game.
So.
Grass on the field, play ball. So there's what you doing, buddy?
Stop. Just keep the train of thought. You don't have to comment every little thing.
I worry about you. I worry about you. I'm worried that you're gonna get into. I'm worried that you're gonna start kicking up trouble. And riling up some revolution and then slowly ruining my radio show.
There are multiple little things on our bed that look like little bugs because they're the same size and shape, but I think they're just little fuzzies that are the same size and shape.
Yeah, for my pillowcase.
Yeah, but we do have multiple collections of bugs in the house, so I want to make sure it's not...
Yeah, but they're a little bigger than... They're full-size roaches that you feed to your lizard.
But they breed.
Yeah, but I don't think they're this small.
Yeah.
Nor they're contained. They're not just freed. Whatever. I don't care.
They're contained for now.
Here, take the screwdriver. Yeah, thanks, great. Until they breach whatever cage you put them in. So...
I mean, I do have to take them out and feed them to my angel, so they are released sometimes. Anyway.
How'd you get them all back in?
I have a little shovel. It's a plastic shovel, and I scoop them. One by one.
That's really cute. A little weird, but...
Day at the beach.
You're very sweet. So,
yeah.
Okay.
People use tongs, but I'm just like that. I feel like I'd squeeze them too hard. I have to learn how to chop the heads off of worms before I feed them to my lizard, and...
Why don't you just cut them in half? Why do you have to chop their heads off?
Apparently their heads are hard to digest. And also, I don't know if that would even kill them if I cut them in half. Like, earthworms you can chop into, like, a bunch of pieces without them dying.
I think that's a myth.
I also think it's only with earthworms.
Yeah, it's definitely not any worm.
Yeah, but it spooks me. And I think they said that, like, the head could be hard to digest, so it's like I might as well just cut their little heads off. I could cut them in half and then also cut their heads off once they're already dead, but... They also have a stinger. Do I have to cut their ass off, too? Like, I don't understand.
I'd recommend just feeding him vegetables.
He needs protein.
Feed him dead worms or crickets or
They're
snails.
And they go bad really quickly.
Do they?
But of course.
Do they?
Yeah, they last like a week once they're opened.
Do they?
Anyway, also, how do I even get the worms in the first place? Because they have a stinger and a biter, so how am I supposed to even hold
a biter?
Yeah.
Most people would call it a mouth.
Yeah, they have a very sharp teeth mouth.
Do they have teeth or do they have mandibles?
I don't fucking know, but apparently their bites hurt. And I think they are...
So glad you brought 100 of these into our home.
50.
Great.
They
I
are...
stand corrected. My complaint has been dismissed.
Yeah. They, burrow? I don't know what the word... I forgot what the word is, but it's like a specific word that they like dig deep down into shit. So I don't know if that would be a thing that would have teeth or a thing that would just have a, you know what I mean? Like animals are built certain ways because of the things that they choose to do. So I don't know.
I mean, not they choose to. Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Whatever.
Yep.
So I don't know what kind of a mouth would be best for things that dig. Why are you pinching my legs with your toes?
Birds choose to fly. That's what they got to do.
Well, certain birds have different shaped beaks depending on what they eat.
What they choose to eat.
Oh my God.
There are a lot of birds in China that have chopstick. I guess most beaks look like chopsticks, don't they?
Yeah, that was also racist.
Stand corrected. It's not racist. They use chopsticks in China.
Yeah.
So.
I never know where the line is.
Maybe shut the fuck up.
Maybe be nicer.
Go to sleep.
So anyway, child rape was as everyone probably knows, because everyone religiously watches our podcast and knows all the previous episodes.
They listen to our podcast. There's no visual element to this podcast.
Okay. Anyway. Well, there is.
Apology accepted.
It's a video on YouTube. It's not an audio file. Anyway. I don't like coming-of-age stories, especially when they involve sex. It is so cringy. It makes me want to die. I cannot stand looking at it. There was very, very, very cringy adult on teenage sex stuff.
As opposed to all the tastefully done stuff that you're watching in your free time?
No, I usually watch consensual adults in movies.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I don't. Anyway. So,
Just watch people from the bus.
yeah. Well, I was going to say, it's not like a porn. Like, I don't watch porn. I just watch...
No, you just watch people in their living rooms. I get it.
Yeah. But it's usually consensual and it's usually adult. Like, that teenage bullshit is so awkward.
Teenage bullshit, yeah.
And even, like, every experience that I've had, I think I was always the one that had less experience. So, like, I didn't really notice.
What?
Like, I always, like... Whenever I did anything sexual with anyone, they always, like, knew exactly what they were doing. Like, there was never that element of, like, oh, should I do it like this? Like,
are you having sex like with children?
No, the opposite of that. I'm saying I've only ever had sex with people that were older or, like, more experienced than I was.
Just getting some really slutty 13-year-olds.
Gross.
They know what they're doing.
So I was always, like, I never noticed it because I never dealt with people that did that, even when I was that age. I mean, when I was that age, I didn't have sex at all, but, you know. Anyway, stop bringing the mic closer to me, especially when I'm...
You're whispering.
Talking about such garbage.
I can barely hear you.
I know that's not true.
Screaming.
I know, so then don't bring it closer to me.
Loud. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Anyway, so that scene was very, very cringy. I did not like it. It was gross.
What scene? Which one?
In the theater.
When he put his thumb in a 15-year-old's mouth?
Yeah.
That was a play.
And he said, "Can I put my arm around you?" And then she, like, puts her finger in her mouth and she's like, okay. And it's so gross and, like, oh my God, it was so disgusting. And then he comes up to her and he doesn't put his arm around her. He just goes in for more heavy stuff. And I was like, that's not what consent is. You can't just get consent for one thing and then... Anyway.
Would have been great if for just that one scene De Niro dropped the southern accent and just had just been De Niro.
There wasn't really much talking.
Yeah, there was a lot of talking before. That scene was 15 minutes long. That scene was preposterously long.
Okay,
I was thinking...
See, that's what I'm saying. All of the scenes were too long.
But I was thinking...
The issue wasn't the actual time that the movie took place in. It was just how long everything was.
Perhaps. I was thinking that during that scene, goddamn, this scene's going on for a long time. And usually that's not a good sign. I figured, based on the way they were trying to do it, that it was trying to build suspense. But I felt it did not do that. I was not suspended.
I felt like the entire time there was really no suspense. Like, they were creating it, and it was getting more and more intense, but then they kind of were like, today's the day, we all have to hire someone today, because today something's gonna happen, and I was like, what makes you think that? Like, there was never a warning that was like, today is the day. And I was like, it's weird that they all of a sudden all have this mutual realization that stuff's going down tonight.
Yeah, well, shit's going down. I find in a lot of Scorsese films... Casino was okay, but in Goodfellas, was that Scorsese? Yeah, it was. Number of excuse me. there are people who the physical violence doesn't make a lot of sense to me. De Niro just kept killing people without having any sort of problems, or no one was really. He killed a guy who had a gun in his hand with a piano wire. He beat up three
Spoiler
dudes.
alert.
Oops. He beat up three dudes who had been hitting him with a chain and a bat. I didn't understand.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he went to prison, so maybe he learned to fight there. But these guys are trained professional fighters.
I don't know if they're trained, but it doesn't matter.
they're
They hit him. You hit someone
they're
in the head.
professionals. Like, they were paid to do this.
Yes,
it
but
wasn't
you
just like
hit
three
someone in the
random
head
guys.
once with a metal pipe. They're probably gonna go to the hospital.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know
God,
what.
that's so crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of 1930s Batman type.
Yeah, and also
Pow,
like
bam, zip.
the scenes at the end where like he beat the shit out of Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
Like each of them they both hit each other so many times, and they both each kept thinking the other one was dead so many times, and it was that I found very unbelievable too, where it's like you beat someone until they pass out, and then you hit them like 7 more times. That just they're not coming back from that.
I don't know. I was also confused a little bit at the end how De Niro just kind of seemed to let himself sink into a river.
Spoiler alert. It was also
Oops.
very I think he knew that he was about to die. Like, I think he was super close to death anyway, and he was sucked into a really strong current.
I don't know. I didn't see anyone sucking him off, but I don't know. Maybe ow. Maybe I missed some key elements to this. Oh, can you explain to me?
Probably not.
Because it seemed like he cinched himself on with a belt or something.
What?
When he was under the car, he was just under their car for, I think they said it was 2 hours or something. That's the famous scene from Cape Fear.
Really?
Yeah. He grabs onto the chassis of their car because it's a lifted car. It's a Jeep or some.
Yeah, I think it was.
Some such off-roading vehicle, whatever. Which I don't know why this lawyer would have a Jeep. Well, fucking whatever. I don't care. So
maybe they rented it.
Whatever. Yeah, they had an SUV. That's not a big deal. So, but he just grabbed onto it, figuring that they would leave. He grabbed onto the bottom of their car. I don't, he might have been there for a day and a half. I don't know how. So, I thought that he did that like the night before. He came into the house, he killed the maid, and then he hid at the bottom of their car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave, and what? He's just there for the entire. Also, if they're on the highway and they hit a rock, that would kill De Niro. I mean, I don't know how. The fumes might kill him. The heat from the engine would certainly be problematic. Yeah. If anyone sees him, he's in big trouble. If someone driving past them on the highway sees them.
I mean, they weren't that high. Like, I don't think it would have been easy to see him unless.
But someone behind him, or if he moves at all at the gas station, he can't be invisible. It's big enough for him to fit under the car without scraping the ground. I don't really know how he held himself up for that long either, but that's it was a confusing element of the movie that kind of they threw it in.
It was almost like a cartoon.
Yeah, it was rather cartoonish, and it was was it the first cartoonish element of the movie? Maybe. It was very strange because up until that point, in my estimation, the movie had been at least perfectly realistic, if not violent and all that. But
I think as the movie progressed, like it got really outlandish.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Like the last scene was just fucking insane. I was like, you're losing me because this is so like hyper violent in a very unnecessary and unrealistic way. Yeah. It kind of like, because the last scene was pretty suspenseful. Like there were a lot of elements of like a really, really intense kidnapping situation. And I was like, oh, this is the shit I live for. Like I love this violent, creepy shit. But it was also like, he literally, spoiler alert, got burnt alive. And then he came back and nothing was wrong. Yeah, I get lightheaded when I sit up too fast. Like I don't.
But he did look a little like the Elephant Man or something. But
he looked gross. But like if your face gets burnt to the point where half of your hair gets burnt off and stuff, like your energy is zapped and you're
dead. But and then they threw. I guess heat doesn't hurt him as much because they threw hot, boiling maybe water onto
That
his
was
face,
weird.
and
Although
he just shrugged it off.
the water itself.
Yeah, my dad granddad used to wrestle snakes in church. I'm a different breed. It's okay. You're still a human being, right?
You have skin and nerves. You know that, right?
Is this part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
The woman, though, the mom said, I'm going to put on a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So it seemed like she had just turned it on. So it wouldn't have been that hot. Also, the water wasn't steaming when it hit him. Like, usually if you hit someone with water, it steams off of the face.
Yeah, okay.
But I was like, maybe that's a cinematic thing where they didn't have a good attention to detail.
I know. I'll buy that, I guess.
I think it just wasn't hot enough. I think it was just a dumb girl who...
Yeah, so another thing, all four of them, De Niro and Nick Nolte's Jessica Lange and whatever, the wife and daughter, all fell into this churning river, or cape, I guess, because they went to Cape Fear, but this river outlet in the middle of the night, and none of them drowned or anything. So that confused me. That would seem confounding. All of them would have drowned.
Why?
Because they're falling into a white water river in the middle of the night.
Oh.
It's the difference between being able to swim laps in a pool and being able to stay afloat in a current at midnight. Yeah. They would have died.
Well, I didn't know.
They would have died instantly.
Because again, Robert De Niro being like floating down the river, it didn't seem that intense.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
but it was,
Nick Nolte
the
was like thrust
crashed
on the shore.
Yeah,
like I don't think Nick Nolte was ever in the water. He was immediately on the beach.
Yeah, and that didn't make sense.
The boat crashed.
Well, that makes because the boat crashed on the bank of the river, and then he was kind of flung onto it, which is fine. But anyone who fell into the water, as De Niro did twice.
Yeah.
And the daughter did, and the wife jumped in. They all would have drowned. They would have been dead. But anyway, that's fine. Again, this movie really kind of goes off the rails in the last 15 minutes.
That's what
kind of jumps the shark a little bit.
Too unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And hyper violent. And you're right. Like the things like being thrown off a boat, thrown off a boat like 6 times or like 3 times per character or whatever. It's just like, all right.
Boat. It's not 3 times per character.
I know.
It's
it was only
5
Robert De
total.
Niro. Yeah.
For 4 people.
Yeah, my bad.
It's 1
No, Robert De Niro fell out 3 times.
I don't think so. I don't think that's right.
Okay.
But be that as it may, yeah, the math doesn't check out. But so yeah, I don't know. This movie got kind of weird. This movie had has a very strong reputation that I think it might just be from De Niro's performance, or maybe from
he did do a good job.
His dedication to the role and or it might be from just that one scene of him being under the car, because that's very famous scene.
It's funny because that literally did not stick with me at all. Like I was not amused by it. I was not impressed by it. It did not. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't even remembered it. I wouldn't have spoken about it at all this entire podcast.
Well, ingrain it into your psyche because it is part of the American collective cultural experience.
Very strange to me.
But yeah, this movie, I'll be frank.
That's why I don't like old movies.
Oh, it's not that old. But I thought it would be better, to be frank. It has across the board, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and Movie Critic, I think it has a 7.3 or equivalent. A 73 on Rotten Tomatoes, has a 7.3 on IMDb, and has a 7.3 on whatever, Google reviews or something. I mean,
a 73 isn't that...
It's fine. It's consistently okay, I guess. Yeah. Which I guess this movie was.
I felt like that was... Remember, like, when we were going to watch it, I was like, this isn't going to be good, but I'll sit through it.
Yeah.
I stand by that. Like, it was good enough that it wasn't so bad that I refused to see it.
What's good enough for you?
Like, you know the movie, like, you wanted to watch the Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson lawyer, or...
Secret Agent
movie.
I very much did not want to watch it.
You wanted to watch it because you knew that I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
And I genuinely wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
But we both knew it was going to be absolutely terrible, and like to the point where I would understand if you completely outright refused to see it. I didn't think it was that bad that I would refuse to see this movie, but...
What was that movie that Anne Hathaway was in? That Anne Hathaway movie?
She's been in so many.
That other one. Name that one.
Ella Enchanted?
No, the other one. The other one.
Devil Wears Prada?
No, the other one.
What else has Anne Hathaway been in?
You say so many, you can only name 2.
She has. I don't know why I can only...
She was in Ocean's 8. She was in The Princess Diaries. She was in The Prestige. She was in Brokeback Mountain. Jessica, you're useless.
I've never seen Brokeback Mountain.
I haven't either. I mean, I've seen scenes of it 30 or 40 times.
She
but
was
I haven't seen the whole movie.
Catwoman?
She was Catwoman.
I got
which
one.
was weird.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but that's okay.
That was.
She's in Modern Love,
strange.
which isn't a movie, but it's the most, like, that's what the reason I can't think of other movies is because I get caught up on, she's in Modern Love, say that, and then I'm like, no, it's a TV show, you can't say that. And
She was in Les Mis.
I didn't see that either. No.
You didn't?
No.
I thought we saw that together. When
Your
did Les
other
Mis come
girlfriend?
out? Well, perhaps. I don't remember when it came out. I don't remember. I do remember not caring for it.
Yeah, and
Let's
I knew
see.
I was not going to
Was
care
it
for it.
2013? Les Mis.
Who'd you see it with, Rob?
When did I see this? The music. Okay, come on. You know that I mean. You know I mean the Anne Hathaway version. 2012. When did I see Les Mis? I
Okay, we had
I
not
don't
met
think I
yet.
saw it in theaters. I feel as though I feel strange.
You probably saw it with girlfriend before
I
me.
dreamed a dream in time gone by. No, I saw it, I think, on a plane because I remember wearing headphones because the Anne Hathaway's song was sounded very tinny, which I didn't normally would probably bother someone, but I didn't care because I didn't care for the musical elements of the movie. I knew it was a musical, and then yet I was disappointed that they kept singing.
That's how I feel about every single musical.
I know. We saw...
Was it Hugh Jackman in
Yes,
it?
he was in Les Mis, and he was also in that...
Showman.
Yeah, that musical you're obsessed with that we
Yeah.
went to, and you went, wait, this is a musical? Even though the trailer has them singing 4 different songs.
I was very upset. Yeah,
You were really enthusiastic to go to see it, and I thought, okay, I didn't realize Jessica, I know she doesn't like musicals, but I guess she likes P.T. Barnum.
I remember,
don't
like,
know
I
what this
picked up
is.
my sandwich, and I went to go take a bite.
We eat full meals at
We
the
do,
movies.
yeah.
We bring in rotisserie chickens.
Yeah. So I picked up my foot-long sandwich, and I, like, brought it to my mouth, and then they start singing, and I, like, threw my sandwich down, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is a musical.
And yet...
I loved it. We stayed.
We stayed, you loved
Did you
it, you
know-
downloaded the entire soundtrack.
Did you know that Michelle Williams, who plays the love or whatever, was
The love.
the love interest, was Heath Ledger's girlfriend when he passed?
Everyone knows that.
I didn't know that. I knew that he had a girlfriend, and I knew that it was very sad because he had a girlfriend, but I didn't know it was her. And then I don't know if it's because of that, but, like, every single picture that I saw them together, she had this, like, long flowy hair, and now she has a pixie cut constantly. And I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
Do you think that's in mourning for Heath Ledger, who died 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, like, I know a lot of girls, like, when their boyfriend, like, when they break up with their boyfriend, they
Throw
have,
themselves
like,
on a funeral pyre, yeah.
they have this very serious, like, haircut. And, like, one girl was like, oh, my boyfriend loved my long hair, and now whenever I look at it, it reminds me of him, because he would always comment on it, so I cut it.
I think that's usually, at post-breakup, that's usually A, trying to get back out there, and B, trying to redefine your image to put a bad relationship behind you.
Yeah.
I don't think people normally do that when they are widowed.
Well, I don't know, I would...
I don't think they...
If I had hair, like, if you died...
Yep.
And...
I'm never gonna die, but go on.
Well, like, I would never, ever, ever get, like, a pixie cut, because it would always remind me of you, even though I've never had one, but I know that that's something that you like. So if I looked at myself with a pixie cut, all I would think of is you all the time, and it would break my heart.
If I die, I'm going to request that you get an enormous afro.
I don't think I could.
And keep a pick in it at all times.
Oh my god.
And just talk like you're from the 70s and maybe doing a racist impression. I would like you to walk the line between doing a character from the 70s and doing whiteface, blackface. What it is.
For the Black
What's
Lives,
this foolishness going on?
For the Black Lives Movement, apparently a bunch of people are, like, doing blackface to show solidarity with black people.
That's cool.
And it's like, bro.
Did I say on the pod what I thought the best character or the best Halloween costume would be?
I don't think I'm going to care for this.
No, for sure. You do someone doing blackface. You know how Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, got in trouble?
Nope.
He got in trouble maybe a year ago because in 1990 I think he was Aladdin, and something to that effect. He painted himself brown, and he didn't paint himself black like blackface. He painted himself kind of
black.
Right, exactly. And also, which to me, blackface usually has a specific racial connotation and offensiveness because it's tied to the Jim Crow era. It's not just any brown person. And also it's mostly an American thing, and Trudeau is not American. But,
Yeah.
so it's always seems weird to me when American cultural norms, particularly in stuff like woke politics and cancel culture, try and take over the world. You know,
Well, we're stupid.
But also, you see people in South Africa, white people who paint them. For example, at some African, I saw it. I think it was a wedding, some maybe religious ceremony. There were white people who were putting brown or black. I don't know if it was mud or paint or something on their face as part of some religious. I don't know what it was, and people were offended because they say, "Oh, blackface has a long history of being offensive to." No, man, it has a history of being offensive in the United States, particularly in the American South. It's not.
I mentioned this on the podcast that I didn't know. Like, I don't see a problem with blackface at all, and then you're like, no, it has a racial connotation, and that's why it's a problem. Like, I didn't even know.
Well, we're Americans, so we kind of have to toe that line. But it's interesting to me when Americans try and assert. Yeah.
Like, I would assert, I'd be like, hey, blackface is wrong or whatever, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, a lot of Americans just say shit because...
Got it. They're told that it's offensive.
Like, I'm not saying that because I'm American I need to watch out. I'm saying I'm American and I don't even know our own history.
Yeah. But, as I was saying, so Justin Trudeau... It was funny, too. Trudeau, he kind of apologized, but he basically said, I liked costumes. What are you going to do?
Here's another thing.
I like dressing up. The character was brown. If I just put on a fez and a vest, I don't look like Aladdin.
That's the thing. Like, I've seen so many Halloween costumes where it's like, oh, I am this person. Like a political rights activist or civil right, whatever.
I'm W.E.B. Du Bois.
Yeah, like, people...
That's my Halloween costume. I'm Booker T. Washington.
But people, like... I'm watching Community right now, and there's the character Shirley, and I think she dresses up as Harry Potter, and everyone looks at her and they goes, "Oh, are you Urkel?" And it's like, if she dresses up as Harry Potter, like, it might not necessarily read that way because she's black, so maybe, like, I think it's kind of, it sucks because if I was gonna do blackface, it's not I don't do it to be offensive. it doesn't make sense if I'm white to be doing this costume.
So pick another well,
I don't know. Like, if my idol is Harry Potter... Well, I mean, I'm white, but if my idol is Urkel, I should be able to dress up as Urkel. Like,
your idol is Urkel, you have a lot of problems. But, yeah. God damn it, I want to be George Washington Carver for Halloween.
But,
and ain't nobody going to stop me.
It's annoying.
If I just walk around handing out peanuts, people think that I'm Jimmy Carter. So, yeah. But anyway, so Trudeau didn't really apologize, which I thought was funny. And then my point is that I think you go to a party in brownface and people say, "Oh, what are you, Aladdin?" You go, "No, I'm Justin Trudeau dressing up as Aladdin."
No, I get it.
And then I don't know if that's offensive or not. Because is it satirizing blackface?
I feel like
it's satirizing satire of blackface.
I think it becomes not offensive because you're making fun of someone for doing blackface. But at the end of the day, you're a man in blackface, so...
I'll keep working on it.
Yeah.
I'll tinker.
I want blackface to not be a thing because I want to do it.
I'd like to be in blackface all the time.
Or I don't know. Also, like, I always worry about it too, where it's like, how far can I tan without being accused of blackfacing?
I walk around the house in blackface.
Stop.
That's what I do. Usually that's my pre-bedtime routine.
Oh.
I'll put on a shoe polish.
Actually, there was
all the way down to my chest so that the collar of my shirt.
There was a thing that a bunch of people in college were using face masks or whatever, or like they did something where they had blackface on.
You mean a charcoal face mask?
I don't know. I'm honestly not. I don't even remember if they actually genuinely did blackface. But then I remember I had a charcoal face mask and I put it on and I took a picture to post on social media and I was like, ooh, maybe I should. But I was like, I'm so terrified of even wearing a charcoal face mask, and like it looked stupid because I'm wearing a black face on top of my face. And I was like, it sucks that I'm...
Just hashtag something that makes it clear that you're hashtag Curious George or something.
I think that was... I think their problem was the fact that they said, we're doing blackface, fuck black people, something like that. And mine was going to be like, I look stupid with a mask on.
That you were hanging out with?
No. There were two college students that made the news because they got expelled for doing blackface. Got it.
Yeah, there was... I think it was Rush Limbaugh who compared Barack Obama to Curious George.
Why?
Because Barack Obama's black and Rush Limbaugh's a racist. So,
okay.
I think it was Rush Limbaugh, and his apology was to say, "I never heard of Curious George in my life," which was a bold. And then he
but he called someone Curious George.
Yeah. It was a really bold stance to take, and then he kept saying over and over again that he didn't, and people would show me, "Oh yeah, that's Curious George, okay." And God. he doubled, tripled down. There must have been more nuance to it than that, but I don't think there was, honest, because I remember hearing it and thinking this can't. I mean, the power of denial is a really strong thing, but there must be limits to it when someone says, "I don't know," you can say, well, you do know, and you saying you don't know is irrelevant. I know you know.
Yeah.
We've established that you know. We're moving past that.
Gross.
But I mean, he's still on the air or whatever he's doing because his followers and viewers and listeners don't give a shit. But
they're also racist. But
it's such an interesting. I've often wondered how my approach to being #canceled would be to say, no. If I say something that I think is over the line, apologizing is not out of question, but it's not out of the question. But if someone just says, "Hey, you said this thing, I got offended, you must apologize, or else we're gonna boycott you on Twitter," I would just say no.
Ricky Gervais actually did a thing about that, and he was like, "Guess what? Being canceled doesn't matter."
Yeah, for all
he's like, it does not make a difference in my life at
right,
all.
especially with all these people petition companies and all of these corporations keep and there's some, it's a good thing if people are not overtly racist or harassing or attacking people of color. That's fine, but a lot of these companies just bow to pressure on social media, and I always wonder, what if you don't? I think a lot of companies overstate the importance of their branding. Because if someone says, "Oh, McDonald's, did something racist in the 70s, we demand they apologize. We're going to boycott McDonald's." If McDonald's, maybe it's just easier to say they're sorry because they lose literally nothing, and even if what they stand to gain is very minimal, it costs them $0 to do. But I often wonder if they just said no. No one's going to boycott McDonald's. That's just a lie. Or they would do it for a week. Or people who would not ever eat at McDonald's anyway would post that they're boycotting McDonald's. It's just so, I imagine how little it would matter, but
I don't know.
It all to me seems like such a low stakes game of nonsense.
Both people from the Ben and Jerry's company.
Ben and Jerry.
Yeah, yep. They were arrested at a protest.
Sure.
And apparently, like, their sales are... Stop it, you freak. Jesus.
Good.
Their sales are probably, like, rising. Like, so many people were like, we're going to start buying Ben & Jerry's because of what they did. So I do think it really matters.
Yeah, but
like...
Yeah, go ahead.
Another example, Starbucks. So what Starbucks did is they basically were like, no one in our premises is allowed... Like, none of our employees are allowed to wear anything supporting the Black Lives Matter movement.
Did you say Black Lives Matter?
I did say that, yeah. Okay. Didn't mean to, but I did.
That's okay.
And basically a bunch of people bitched and they were like, I can't believe this is crazy, like, fuck you guys. And then they were like, hey, like a week later, they were like, oh my god, look at our new t-shirt supporting Black Lives Matter, here you go. And they were like trying to be all high and mighty as if they hadn't.
Right, but my
point is that I don't, like, I look down at Starbucks for doing that and it makes me not want to go to them. But to your point, maybe I will buy them slightly less, or I will buy them less for a month, and then I'll get over it.
I don't think people have short attention spans and memories, and really don't care. Once they realize that, oh, damn, not going to Starbucks is a mild inconvenience in my life that goes beyond just hashtagging something, they'll just lie or just stop doing it. Or,
I mean, as you know...
That's how these companies became quadrillion, bajillion... dollar corporations, because people can't not do it.
If a company,
and at this point there's no alternative. All these big corporations have squeezed out every other small business, so you're either going to not drink coffee or you're going to shut the fuck up and go to Starbucks. Exactly.
And it's like a lot of the companies, like that, the one I was telling you about where their founder was super racist, and then they, like, I think were like shutting the company down or something because of it. No, like that, I was like, I don't care about it because I don't use it, and I'm happy that the company is going under because I don't support racism. But I would be like, if the Bronx Zoo turned out to be racist, I would still go.
Yeah.
Because I need the zoo in my life. It's you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm so... I don't know, and that feels kind of shitty, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
But they're like, again, like, I love animals, and I think if there was a company that did animal cruelty, I would probably go out of my way to not use them.
To me, it seems, especially because, again, it's so low stakes, I don't know anyone who would be so offended by something and then so acquiesced by an apology,
Yeah.
So if
that's not how that works.
Yeah.
It's all just fake.
Yeah, it's bullshit and outrage politics, and it's just virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, but it is what it is.
I mean, and it's hard. Like, as you know, like, I'll go on Instagram and I'll see all these posts about Black Lives Matter that are so enraging, of, like, people being killed. Now people are getting lynched, and people are, like, sharing their life stories about, like, oh, when I was a kid and I was camping, like, there was a really sad story about this girl that was a Girl Scout, and she was like, my whole troop, everyone was black, and, like, we went camping, and our moms and leaders wanted us to experience the same experience that everyone else had.
Sure.
But what she didn't know is that the moms all took turns staying awake all night because they were in a Ku Klux Klan forest area or something, and they were like afraid of being murdered the entire time because it was a group of black girls alone in a forest.
Go to a different forest.
Well, it was the only one in their state or something. Like, I think it was a really racist state, and they were like, where were we supposed to go? We're in the deep south. Like, what do we do? And I was like, that's just... So, like, I get really, really angry, and I want to help, and I feel like signing a petition or, like, putting a post on my story that's really enraged is...
I would imagine it's if you're in a place where they say South Carolina, which is how they say it, if you can't even say words that end in an A...
Yeah.
With an A, you have to put an ER on words that have to sound like Carolina. Those guys really have it really very deeply embedded into them. So, would you recommend Cape Fear?
Oh, yeah. The racist conversation is something that I want to keep having, but we can't fit it in.
50 minutes.
Yeah, we can't. But we can circle back to it if you want next episode.
Let's work on this.
I wouldn't.
Okay, I would say if you're really into Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
As some people are, kind of to a weird... I mean, you've probably already seen this movie if you are, but if you're
like
just
Robert
getting really into Robert De Niro or Scorsese... Well, this isn't really even a typical Scorsese film, honestly. All of the other Scorsese films I've seen have been gangster movies, but if you're really into De Niro, or if you really, really like psychological thriller type movies...
Yeah.
Sure, it's not a bad movie, but I would say if you only have time for one psychological thriller from the 80s or early 90s, just watch Fatal Attraction. This movie was Fatal Attraction, but a little worse and a little less suspenseful and interesting.
We need to finish Fatal Attraction.
15 or 20 minutes longer, I think. How long was Fatal Attraction?
I've never seen the last... We need to watch it. You refused to watch the last 20 minutes with me for some reason.
I did?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like me.
You did, though.
I've seen Fatal Attraction.
I know, and we watched it, and then I think it got too late, and you fell asleep. And then I was like, hey, let's
Fatal
stop.
Attraction. Yeah, Fatal Attraction is 10 minutes shorter.
Okay.
And it's just a better film. So it's basically the same movie. It's just Fatal Attraction's better. And Fatal Attraction...
It's also not good.
Right. Well, I mean, if you don't like this sort of movie, it's not good.
I like this sort of movie. It's not good.
Well, you don't. You don't like Cape Fear. You don't like Fatal Attraction.
I like the new ones. I just don't... I think the
new ones
movies...
are garbage.
Okay, we just have different tastes, Robert.
And your tastes are bad. So...
And your tastes are whorish.
So... Yeah, Fatal Attraction.
Slutty movie taste.
Fatal Attraction is better in a lot of ways, and Fatal Attraction was years before this one, so it's not even as though Fatal Attraction was a ripoff. And no, Fatal Attraction came first. Although to be fair, the original Cape Fear was from the '60s, so I don't know who the chicken and the egg is. But yeah, watch Fatal Attraction if you need a movie like this in your life. Is what I'd say.
Not good.
Yeah, it was fine, I guess.
The also like. The pedophile scenes were just too...
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot...
weird. And, like, almost like that movie, the Lovely Bones or whatever, that was about, like, a
Never
pedophilia...
saw it.
Okay.
Didn't a girl go missing or something?
Yeah, but, like, she got pedophiled.
Oh.
And he, like, kidnapped her and whatever. I think I blocked out a lot of that movie because it scarred me, but... and it was really intense, but I feel like the pedophilia thing should be a lot more... I don't know. Get your thumb out of my mouth. It should be like taken more seriously, and it should be more appalling. And I feel like in this movie it was kind of just like, this is just what he does. Like it didn't.
Well,
it should be taken more seriously than this movie.
I would disagree, but okay. So you don't.
Whatever.
You
don't recommend it.
You didn't like this movie.
Now my stomach hurts. I'm in a tizzy.
All right. We'll see you later, Pod Racers.
Bye.